Good morning, everybody. I want to say in the chat how long you've been, if you're on summer break, if it's been a couple weeks, if you just started, how deep into summer break are you this year? But I know that this time of year is whether you're kind of wrapping stuff up or kind of just starting summer projects, it's still really busy. So thank you so much for spending the time to join us today. We've got a fun chat with Kristen and Lindsay about the ActivPanel 10 from Promethean. We're just going to do a little bit of a fun, light deep dive into their some of their favorite features and functions on that. But before we get started, I have just a couple housekeeping things to go over. First, if you have any questions throughout the session, feel free to put them in the chat. I will be keeping an eye on that throughout the session, getting them to Kristen and Lindsay as I'm able. If I don't hit them in the session, we'll get them at the end during Q&A and make sure we don't miss anything. So put those in the chat. If you're wondering where the chat is, not familiar with the Zoom platform, it's just the little text bubble at the bottom of your screen. And secondly, if you stick around to the end and do our exit survey, you'll qualify for that coffee gift card that we promised. So stick around, do that. It's just a little way for us to get to know you a little bit better. And we appreciate you giving us that information. So thank you guys so much. I'm going to pass it over to my buddies to get started today.
Okay, hi. Nice to be here with everybody. My name is Lindsay Keeley. I'm a teaching and learning consultant with Trafera. I've been with Trafera for almost 4 years now. But prior to that, I was an elementary teacher, a district technology facilitator, and a technology supervisor. So happy to be here with you guys talking about the AP10 and all the cool features with it. And I have
Kristen, hey, that was weird. Kristen, I'm Kristen Dubois. I am a teaching and learning consultant like Lindsay with Trafera. I was in the classroom, we're both in Louisiana. She's in like one side, central, south. I'm in southeast Louisiana. I was in the classroom for 17 years, English language arts, and I've been with Trafera I just made 3 years, y'all. Can y'all believe it? It went by so fast. And Lindsay and I are both really excited about anything Promethean. And so today, like she said, we're going to talk about some of the AP10 features to get you comfortable.
Okay, so we're going to jump in. If you are familiar with Promethean, then you'll know the apps. The apps that you know and love us are still here, but the new Promethean experience is a little bit different because it is giving you choice. It is giving you functionality. It is giving you very cool accessories. It is giving you new software that you can do. So we're going to talk about all of that. And then we're going to do a little dive into the software and some of the ways that you can use it beyond just like your regular spinner. So bear with us. Kate's watching the chat. If you have a question, please pop it in the chat. We are here to answer any questions that you might have. So let's talk about the AP10. So there are 2 versions of your AP10. You have your AP10 and you have your AP10 Premium. So you'll notice right here, one of the biggest differences with the AP10 Premium is that you have an additional size here, and that is the 55-inch. That is going to be your smaller version of the 10 Premium. Prior to this, Promethean has always been 65, 75, 86. Now, if you need a smaller version, you can absolutely get it. It's just going to be the AP10 Premium. So that's the first thing. Now, the AP10 in it of itself is just a touchscreen device. Like, it is a fancy touchscreen device, but when I tell you the look of it, the 4K view, the glass, it is beautiful. The colors, you can kind of see behind me, you can see Kristen's behind her. The colors are so vibrant on this panel with this display. So you have those things. And what I love about the AP10 is the choice that you have. So prior to this, you had your version 9 panels, and you had the Element series, which is the titanium and the nickel, and those had the built-in Android system. And I loved it. I loved those panels. But the problem is, as time goes on, those Android systems at a certain point, they cannot get the security updates anymore. So with the AP10, now not only do you have an Android option, which is your OPSA 2 that they have now, You can even choose to do a Chrome OS or a Windows operating system. And then when you have those operating systems, it's a slot in on the back of the panel. Those OSs are going to stop receiving security updates before the panel itself actually stops working. The panels will outlast the OS. So in this, once you have your AP10, if something happens, and let's just say the OPSA stops receiving updates in 2 years or 3 years, or whenever the case might be, instead of having to buy a brand new full panel, you just need to purchase the OS to slot in the back. So it's going to become more budget friendly down the line for you, which is we're all about budgets. So I love that. And then with the OSs that you also get ActiveSuite licensing. You're saying ActiveSuite, what is that? ActiveSuite is the software that you can add to the Windows operating system or to the Chrome OS so that you have those apps on those devices. Now on the OPSA, the apps that you know and love, the Explain Everything Whiteboard, which is my favorite thing ever, your spinner, your timer, your annotate, your screen share, all of those come pre-installed on the OPSA. On the OPSM, which is the Windows device, you add that ActiveSuite software and you have that on the screen. You have all of those apps. And then with the Chrome OS, you'll be able to add the apps to the panel. So you'll still have the apps you know and love, but now you have the choice on what your OS is going to be, what's going to work best in your district for your teachers that they're going to get the most use out of. All right, so let's talk accessories, because with the AP10 Premium, you now get this fancy remote. I'm going to talk to you about it, but I will tell you, in all the years that I have been doing this, one of the most frequently asked questions, and Kristen, I know you know exactly where I'm going, is where's the active slate? We need another active slate. And if you're not familiar with the active slate, that was a little tablet that you had with the very first Promethean panels that had it was the whiteboard and the projector, but it was used to control the computer from wherever they were in the classroom. So they weren't tethered to the front of the board. People have been asking for the active slate forever. So you don't have the active slate, but what you have instead is this remote. You'll notice the all-in-one remote has a trackpad. And so I don't know if you'll be able to see, but I'm going to do the trackpad and I'm going to come over here. I'm going to open my Chrome browser. So I am able to use this from wherever I am in the classroom to move my mouse around. I see it moving behind me. I can move my mouse around. I can click, I can hold things, open things, whatever I need to do. And not only do I have the trackpad and I still have the same buttons on the remote, y'all, when you flip it over, there is a full keyboard on the back. So if I'm going to use the trackpad and open another tab. Then I can flip it over, put my cursor where it needs to be. I can flip it over and I can actually type, I want to go to Quizlet.
If you only knew how jealous I was. I don't have one yet. Like I'm kind of working with just the OPSA slotted into my panel. I have so much envy for this remote.
It's my favorite.
Yeah, and talk about how on the back, because I'm by nature, I question everything, the functionality, but it has something in there that orients the remote to where you can't accidentally type on the back while you're holding it.
Yeah, so if I have it flipped this way, yeah, like, and because I'm grabbing, if I have it flipped this way and I'm clicking on the remote, it's not going to actually type anything until you flip it over. I think the word they used was gyroscope, but I'm not 100% sure.
That sounds familiar. We're going to go with that. That sounds
it's the magic ball inside that knows which side it is. It's magical. So this comes with the AP10 Premium. However, if you get the AP10, you can purchase this. Oop, I clicked. You can purchase this and it will work on that panel on the AP10. So the remote is fantastic and it answers a need that has been asked for years. But you also have the ActivPen 2. So it looks like the legacy pen or the pen that was with the AP9, except there's a little twisty thing on the end, y'all. With this, you have a laser pointer, and you're probably not gonna be able to see it, but you have a laser pointer option on your panel that will show, it's a little red dot. You have the air mouse capabilities. If you have ever played with a Wii, it's gonna function like that. I'm gonna tell y'all, I struggle with that a little bit. I need to play a little bit more to get used to it, but I can use my pen and control my panel from, again, like a little magic wand. It's so much fun. And then you can switch it to where it's just the pen. So these two things come with the AP10 Premium, but you can purchase these for the AP10 if you want. And it will work on earlier versions of the panel. Just saying.
I didn't know that, Lindsay. Really?
I did test it. Okay, so I am on my computer. You'll notice I'm doing some things. I've got my slideshow shared here because I want to talk about ActivSuite. So I am on a Windows device. I am not tethered to my panel right now because my panel has my OPSA. I'm just going to go home. I've got my OPSA on here. Kristen is going to function on her OPSA behind you, but I am on my computer on purpose because I want to show you ActivSuite. So we talked about that. You get 2 licenses with the purchase of your ActivPanel 10, and the licenses are assigned to a user, not a device. And so with those licenses, if you go in and you assign your ActivSuite license to Lindsay, and I have a desktop and 2 laptops, I can have ActivSuite on all 3 devices with that 1 license, okay? And you're saying, okay, what is ActivSuite? You keep talking about it. Well, if you notice down here at the bottom in my window, I'm gonna click right here. This is ActivSuite. It takes those Promethean apps that everybody loves and it puts them on your computer. So if you have the OPSM or the Windows device, you would add this to that device and your teachers would have access to the apps that they use. So it has the Explain Everything Whiteboard, it has Annotate, it has Timer, it has Spinner. I'm going to click on the Spinner because that's what we're going to talk about first. Now, if you have not seen Promethean Spinner, I'm going to tell y'all it is fantastic. And what I love is it's going to come with 3 default ones. It's going to have your continents, your shapes, and your numbers 1 to 10. But look at this Create List button. You can have up to 30 spinners on here. And most people think with the spinners, okay, well, I'm going to add my students' names and I can use that instead of my popsicle sticks. And absolutely you can. So like in this one, I did our ed team. I'm just going to select this. Here's the people on our team. I'm going to go to my settings because I do want to talk about some of the settings that you have in here. All right, let me drag this out a little bit so we can see it all. I'll just scroll down. So with the settings, when you spin the spinner, you can have some sound. I mean, you can have some celebrations, your fireworks or your confetti. You can do sounds. I'm not going to do the sounds, and I will tell y'all they're fun for like the first 2 times you spin. And then for Lindsay, every time I spin and it keeps doing the sounds, I'm like, ugh. So I don't have sounds on my spinner often just because it drives me bananas. But they're there. But what I do love is this repeat selection option. So just like with the popsicle sticks, when I would pull out a stick and it was Lindsay's turn, as soon as I had my turn, I'm checked out until she puts all the popsicle sticks back in. You can turn off repeat selection. And so what happens is when you do the spinner and you spin and it picks John, then John is not going to get selected again until every other slot has been selected. But notice that John does not know. He's not marked out. He has no idea. So you can turn repeat selection on or off depending on the need. Kristen, you jump in anytime you have something to say, please, because I'm just going to talk.
No, I'm just laughing at bananas.
Oh. Okay, so just a couple of ideas that we have seen with teachers using spinners beyond just student names. Okay, I'm going to tell you the one that blew my mind I saw a long time ago was a teacher that did chemical equations. So I'm going to show you. You can have up to 30 spinners, and on each spinner you can have up to 50 slots. But I'm going to find, here's my elements, 1 to 50. Okay, I know this is super tiny. Don't worry about it though, because when I spin, it's going to show me whatever my selection is, titanium. Good, I can say that word, I'm happy. You can open up additional spinners. So I'm going to open up another spinner, and this one I'll just spin again. So I had titanium and I have silver, another easy one. So the idea that the teacher had was anytime they had a few extra minutes in her chemistry class, she would pull up the two spinners, spin it and get the two elements, and then say, okay, do chemical equations to combine them. So the students had time to practice. I never would have thought of doing this, but to me, it is genius. But if you go in like a lower level, you do have the numbers 1 to 10. And if I wanted to add more, notice I have 12. You can actually edit any of the spinners that are there with the little pencil. But with numbers 1 to 10, I can spin one and then spin the other and say, give me the product, give me the sum. Let's see, we've got 5 and 4. Give me the difference. So like just little activities like that you can do.
Yeah, and like while Lindsay's doing this on her computer, and that's what you're seeing because she's got ActiveSuite pulled up, same thing exists on the panel. So she's driving everything from her computer with ActiveSuite. On my panel, I have those same features. And let me get there. I'm out. I don't want to get out of my whiteboard right now, but I could overlay a timer or a spinner directly on top of everything. So those are hovering or floating tools that live on top of everything.
So much fun. Okay, so that's the spinner. The timer, you're still going to have timer on ActiveSuite, and you still have timer on your OPSA, and there is a timer app for the Chrome OS. So you still have that same thing, the same timer. I'm going to open my timer up. And again, if I go to settings, I still have the timer, I still have the stopwatch, I still have the clock. I can still open multiple versions of my timer. Let me get back to it. Let's see, I'm going to close this. Here's my digital, my analog clock. I'm going to open another timer. And this one, I'm going to go into my settings, and I want this to be a timer. And again, you've got the settings. You can do ending phrases, all the fun stuff, and you can set it. This is 7 seconds. So it's going to do the little countdown. My clock is still hanging out in the corner. So I've got the time there. And then when my timer is up, you probably can't hear my music, but it's doing some music. I've got my fireworks and my little ending phrase. So timer is still there on your OPSA. You can download the Chrome app, or it's on ActiveSuite in here. So that tool is still there and available, and it's so much fun. Okay, Kristen?
Are you wanting to talk a little bit about the Windows device, or I guess we've already covered that? Yeah, we have. Sorry, I went backwards in time.
Well, no, say what you were thinking. Maybe I didn't say it.
No, I mean, I just want to make sure that it's clear, and it makes sense, because I kind of have to be told something multiple times for it to sink in. And because this panel does operate a little bit differently, maybe that's not everybody, that's just me, but I'm gonna speak to you like your brain works like mine. So Lindsay's got her device. I think that this was a really powerful move by Promethean, because one of the things that we get told frequently, besides the active slate business, that's an ongoing thing, is that teachers are not remaining untethered. So they are using the devices that they know. They are using their system, like their Microsoft or Chrome, whatever they're using. They want to stay tied to their panel because they want to be able to like punch the keys. So that's the workspace that Lindsay is using, and I think that works for many, many teachers. For me, and probably Lindsay too, if we weren't modeling, we like to use the panel completely by itself. Like we are just, our brains work that way. We don't want extra wires or cables, despite what you might see hanging out. So mine has nothing attached to it. I am running strictly off of the OPS. So if I were to go back home, this is just the OPS. Okay, so I can
OPSA. You have the OPSA.
OPSA, yes, OPSA. So like this will look like an Android device. I've got all of the apps. This is a very comfortable space for me. And this is what would become slotted in if you choose that operating system on the AP10. Now, something that we wanted to make sure that you knew about is, and I just went to explain everything, and that is not what I was trying to do, is it doesn't matter if you're on what Lindsay's using or what I'm using, you have those annotation tools. Now, what you can see on Lindsay's screen is just a screen capture of what I'm going to show you. She actually opened up Annotate. So even though she's on her Windows device right now, you can see that she's got Annotate. Oh, that was a picture I put. Now the real thing's on there. That's a good screen capture for me to be able to not, I confuse myself. So even though she's on that device, she has Annotate. But right here on the OPSA, I can open up Annotate. So I just have, it's just an image of a book page. So I have got my Annotate window. It's the same thing that Lindsay has there. She just has hers in light mode and I'm in dark mode, which is usually the opposite. There's some irony there. But I can come in here and annotate directly on top of everything. And this is something that teachers always, when we do a training, how do I write on top of what I already have? Because we're kind of trained to use like a camera and to write things. And they just want something in the moment. Hey, I pulled up this math problem. I want to be able to write it. So you still have that option, whether it's on your panel or on your device. And again, whenever you close it, you can screen capture it and save it. And it can go into your existing workspace, like your Google workspace, Google Drive, or you can save it locally. And it's a fantastic tool. And it's something that teachers use all the time.
Definitely.
Yeah. I did very, very brief overview of that, but that's the gist.
Okay, and then screen share.
Oh, I'm doing screen share too. I did know that. I was waiting on you. All right, so screen share. It's if you've used Promethean historically, I promise I do know what day it is and what my name is. It just doesn't seem that way at this moment. I had a very early start. All right, so screen share is what it says. It lives like it used to. Lindsay does have it on her active suite right there. You can see it has like the what do they call it? The
Screen share receiver.
The receiver. So you have that receiver in your active suite. So even if you're working directly from your device, you can do that, but it works similarly on your panel. So we still have, I'm going to go home. It looks just like what the screen is that Lindsay's got open. If I go into screen share, then I just share my code and students, teachers, whoever you would want can join this. And of course, you can highlight. So I can highlight up to 4 at a time. I can have 28, 45, what is the number now? 39 students or devices in the waiting room and have those screen shared. And y'all, it's just an easy way to showcase student work, whether you're doing it from your connected computer or your OPSA device.
Absolutely. And the benefit too is you have that annotate option. So if you do share a student, like they're writing, you can annotate on top of it, or a math problem. Okay, so let's look at step 1. What did they do correct here? And let's check their work or whatever. So you can annotate on top of anything you screen share as well. So love that you have those things there. And Kristen, I'm glad you pointed it out, because I did want to, I am on my device, but if you do get the Windows operating system, it is going to function just like it is on my device. So the OPSA is the Android. The Windows option is going to look just like this, and then it's going to have Windows 11 on it. So the same, it's basically like a separate computer on the back of your panel, but with Active Suite, you have all of these tools. So, all right, let's keep going and let's talk about Explain Everything Whiteboard. Y'all, I love Explain Everything Whiteboard. And this is one of the major benefits, I think, to Active Suite. Not only Active Suite on the panel, and not only Explain Everything on the OPSA or the OPSM, the Windows version, or on the Chrome OS. Active Suite on a teacher device. This is what I did this morning. So Explain Everything Whiteboard, you can start with a blank canvas. There's a ton of templates that you can look through and use, or you can do file. And I want to take a moment and shout this out, because this is huge. So many teachers have built flip charts in Active Inspire. Look what you can do now with Explain Everything, the Whiteboard app. You can actually import those flip charts into Explain Everything Whiteboard. Fantastic. Like this, we have needed this for so long, so that ability is there. And then once you're in there, you've got all the different things that you can do. You've got pages you can add. It's an infinite canvas. You've got a whole bunch of tools, but you've got this add media option, and then you can export it in different ways. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to jump into Explain Everything. So I've got it open, and this is what I love. On my computer this morning, I created activities that I wanted to showcase today. So I'm going to go to File, and look, there's my webinar examples. I built this on my computer. what I would do if I wanted this on my panel, I would take this, it's saved locally to my computer. I would drop this in Google Drive, and then I would come here. I've already got something open, but I'm going to go to open, discard this, and I can put it, here's my drive on my panel behind me. I can find the one I want and have it open and be good to go. So it's going to think for a second, and then it's going to open in the background. So your teachers now have the ability to build things out on their computer and access it from their panel. No, you don't have
Yeah,
to
and
just do
that
it
to
on the panel.
me, whenever I heard this was happening, I got excited because many times as a teacher, like you have to leave when the day ends because you have stuff going on and but you might still have to work at home. Now I'm not limited to be able to create something to use on my panel for my students in the classroom. You can do it on the go.
Yeah, absolutely. I just had a thought and I lost it because I looked at the time and we have 4 minutes. So I'm going to try and hurry, but I love Explain Everything. So this is just like, I built these in like 15 minutes this morning. So an activity, what's my name? So we're sorting these. So the idea here is that students would come up and they would drag these to the right place. And then my cube. Oh, I moved things around. And then to check it, I'm going to do the fill tool. I'm just going to fill my background and it would reveal the right answer underneath. So took me a couple of minutes to build this out, getting the shapes, doing the boxes. Obviously, I didn't do all of them as far as sending to the front and to the back, but just simple things like this. And this is what I was going to say. It just came to me. When we do our orientations on this, teachers, we show them this, and we always get teachers that are like, okay, so you're telling me I need to start building out my presentations in here to deliver content? Absolutely not. I would use Explain Everything to take notes when we're watching things, or to build out activities like this where it's interactive. You're getting students up and out of their seats and they're able to do this. And if you used Active Inspire and had some activities that you built in those, y'all, those will work beautifully in here. Or you can recreate those in here. So let me turn the page and just show you another example. This is one of my favorite, not the chemical equation part because Lindsay taught 4th grade, but this was one of my favorite examples is the dual color boxes. And so I want to know what the chemical equation is for sodium chloride. Now we're going to all be surprised because I don't remember what it is, but when you scroll across with the text, it reveals the answer. And it's just one text box, y'all, with white text. But things like this is going to stick with your students because it's interactive, it's engaging, it's magical, actually. So this is just another example of something you can do. This one, this uses my favorite tool, which is a cutout tool. So the idea is I have this diagram of the plants and we're talking about transpiration, and they're going to come up and move like wherever this goes. So very easy to do this sorting activity, but I want to show you, this is where I got this is it. I found a diagram on Google and it had this. So all I did to make this interactive was I took this cutout tool, which is basically like the snipping tool, and I snipped out this part. I moved it over, and then watch. I took my pen, I'm doing white. Let me make sure it's kind of thick. And then I just colored over this to make this part disappear. So you can take simple things, and with the tools that you have and Explain Everything, you're able to make those simple things interactive. And I just love it. The one behind me is another one that we created. And y'all, the eraser tool is it's a basic eraser, but you can erase through images. And so this one is, okay, what is this, or how much is this worth? I can erase through an image to reveal the cost of it. So lots of things you can do with Explain Everything.
Lindsay's really good at these. She can share them with me. So that's another feature, is you can download these and share them with other teachers. And so not everybody is having to create. They can spread the wealth amongst the team.
Absolutely. Okay, I'm going to jump back to, nope, wrong window. I'm going to jump back to this window and I'm going to go to the end. I know we have a minute left, so all of your questions we'll answer in a minute.
All right, I don't see any questions in the chat right now, so I think you're kind of good to close it out.
Awesome. Well, I'm going to stop sharing my screen. And so excited for you guys.
Well, thank you guys. I just launched the exit survey. Again, that is your way of kind of indicating that you want that coffee gift card. And thanks again for joining us today. If you have any questions about AP 10, Promethean, And that just really anything classroom technology, we are here as your partner to help you with all of those requests. We can help kind of on the pre-purchase consultation side, professional development, which is really Lindsay and Kristen's area of expertise, and everywhere in between, we're here for you guys. So thank you for joining us today. We will see you at the next coffee and combo. And thanks, Lindsay and Kristen. Oh, sorry,
No
go ahead.
problem. Hey, and I just want to say, Maya, I know this was super fast. I see your comment. I know it was. I will tell you, when we do orientations, it is not this fast. We actually have them for like 90 minutes where we can go a lot slower and have them click along with us. But we just had 30 minutes for this, so I was trying to get as much as I could out of it. But if you have questions, please reach out to us for sure. We'd be happy to answer or jump on a call with you.
All right. Thank you guys
Thank
so much.
y'all. Great job,
We'll
Lindsay.
we'll
Thank
leave the poll open for a little bit longer so you have time to take that, but we'll say goodbye now. Thank you so much.
Bye,
Bye.
everybody.
Bye, y'all.